Hi, I'm Peter Cowan, the Bee Whisperer. We have had the usual crazy February temperatures this month. The temperatures have been up into the 50s and 60s one day and down to the teens the next. In fact, last week when I was out at the hives and it was in the 60s, about 65 degrees it got up to, within 6 hours it was down to 15 degrees. It dropped 50 degrees in the space of 6 hours. And not only that, it was blowing a gale as well. So the wind chill on those hives probably took it down to well below zero. This is the sort of weather that wipes out colonies if they're not well protected from the weather. Hopefully yours didn't experience such a bad fall in temperatures, and if they did, they were well insulated. But this really does underline why it's so important to insulate hives to prevent the clusters from being frozen before they can form, basically, which is how the cold weather, the sudden change in cold, that's how it will wipe out hives. Basically, it'll knock out 50, 60, 70% of the bees overnight as they go from being in a warm environment to where they're all over the hive, feeding on the honey, cleaning out dead bees, etc. Temperature suddenly drops and they literally cannot get back into a cluster in time, and the bees form golf ball to tennis ball size clusters all over the hive, none of which are warm enough to survive that chill, and then the cold just finishes those off, leaving a small cluster left behind in the hive which just can't cope. We've had another couple of nights now where it's into zero or below. It'll just finish off colonies like that. So I'm afraid a lot of folks are going to have some bad news when we have the next warm spell and a warm up, that they're going to have lost hives that they thought were doing great. That's really unfortunate. The other thing that happened last week is we closed the doors for new membership for Beekeeping 24/7. That's the new mentoring group I've started up with Amy Nickerson. It's really going to be a great resource for particularly new beekeepers or beekeepers who've struggled to keep their bees alive. We will open up the doors for new membership again in the spring, but for now we're going to concentrate on giving the great value for those that have joined our paid membership group. So that will continue. Of course, I will continue to be doing videos here on Beekeeping with the Bee Whisperer. It's not that Beekeeping 24/7 is taking that over, but there will be maybe a slight shift in what I'm covering in the two different venues. I will be doing beekeeping classes here at my farm in Hamden, Maine. For anyone who wants to join us, I'll be having beekeeping classes for beginners and intermediate classes in April, May, and June. You'll want to go onto either my website or, better still, my Facebook page, The Bee Whisperer, to get more details on those classes coming up. I'm just putting those dates up now. As I say, we will also open up the doors for Beekeeping 24/7 again in sometime in the spring. So there is a waiting list starting up if that's the way you want to go, because that will have even more detailed classes than we can do. So for example, the difference is the classes that you can do in a one-day hands-on class is I can do about 4 hours of lectures before everyone would be sound asleep. And so we can do up to 4 hours of classes, maybe nudging 4.5. These Beekeeping 24/7 videos are roughly 10 hours, so much more detail going into those with plenty of pictures and things. The beekeeping, hands-on beekeeping classes, though, are really great for those who really just have to be there and be in amongst the bees to absorb that information, because we'll do about 4 hours in the classroom and then another hour and a half in the bees, weather permitting. So it's something that if you're in the area or plan on making a trip to Maine and want to tie it in, you're very welcome to join me in one of my beekeeping classes here. So go on to my Facebook page, The Bee Whisperer, for more details on that. In the meantime, preparing equipment and stocking up my store for the coming spring rush. I have packages of bees, both Italians and Saskatraz, which will be available in May. And I've already taken orders for nearly 100 nukes for this spring, both Italians and Saskatraz, which I will be now taking orders for early June. So if you're interested in those, again, check out the Facebook page to get the information. But I will be providing bees and equipment here, of course, for those who can stop in at the store. I'm afraid I don't do mail order. Anyway, I've got a lot of preparation to do out there, very busy. Even though I don't have the hands in the bees yet, there's still plenty of stuff to do. I'm Peter Cowan, the Bee Whisperer. See you next time.